Oh no, somebody figured out Evening Twilight Night is absurd. So make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So you might remember Evening Twilight Night having this absurdly long amount of text on it, all having to do with Blackluster, and you're probably like, okay, well, why do I give a crap about this? There's a very nice line of text at the bottom of this card that says, if this card is banished from your graveyard, you can add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Oh, wait a minute. It's a dark monster? Robbie, well, what are we doing? So in theory, if we were to branded fusion, drop this into the graveyard, and then potentially banish it with Albion, you can bridge into full Mitsurugi combo. Christ, man. What have we as a community, what have we been doing? Who actually ever figured this concept out? I love it. Also, if you need to bestial the darn thing out of the graveyard, you can, because it accomplishes the exact same thing, all right? It's a dark monster. Its job is to be super easy and accessible to work with, and honestly, it works very, very well. This is technically supposed to be the what in the world happened here segment for the week, but unfortunately, you know, we had all the news and everything, so we didn't get the chance to do that. But I really wanted to talk about Evening Twilight Night because, in theory, this just means at any point I could access this, I can always have pressure on the opponent by having access to this sort of combo. And that's so stupid, man. And once again, this just proves that, you know, anything that can generically engage with rituals and go feels ignorant. Mechanical Chaser evidently topped the Edison Worlds? Huh? So I don't have a lot of info on this talking point here. What I think I have figured out is Black Salvo is one of the bigger cards that tends to see play in Edison format, and I'm actively believing that Mechanical Chaser probably saw a combination of play with Black Salvo, because that seems to be the most logical thing I've seen. I got a friend that plays Edison like literally an hour or two a day. Like, it's his favorite format. Well, it's not his favorite format, but he loves old school Yu-Gi-Oh! So I've become a little bit more educated in the toys that he'll run into on the DB ladder at 2 to 3 a.m. And it's just kind of, it's interesting. And also, I mean, Edison, while Konami itself is not supporting anymore, that does not mean that the format is dead, people. You guys need to stop that. All right? There seems to be this disconnect from the community. It's like, Edison's dead. Konami stopped supporting. No, our bet's going. I know that there's another tournament series that's going to be happening here in the Midwest later on in the year that's going to be supporting it's going to be supporting Edison and so forth. There's also the Limited Duel series. Edison is still doing well. It's just, you know, it's a little bit, you went from more manageable down to a little smaller of a scale here, which is why, you know, something like Mechanical Chaser might have went underneath the radar. But now it's worth looking at because, you know, I guess Vanilla Machine Monster go burr. Once again, though, I mean, it's Edison, man. You look at the options, consider it, and figure out what you want to be the best tools in that format. And then we have Thunder Dragon Dark. I have talked about Thunder Dragon Dark before, and honestly, I'm surprised that the community's just now figuring this out, because being able to pitch this and, you know, toggle into the other Thunder Monster is pretty good. Obviously, within Thunder Dragons, you'd be able to use this through Titan and get the additional popping, which was really cool. But also, gosh darn it, at level 5, it really good with my canine cards. I love going Thunder Dragon Dark into a Thunder Dragon Dark, going Joe Cool, special summon my Thunder Dragon Dark, making my Thunder Dragon Colossus. Now my opponent looking at my Floodgate Dragon, looking at me going, why you playing bad cards? I'm going to be like, well, you just lost to it. What are you going to do about it? And it's going to be like, oh, this is really cool, man. This is why the Thunder Dragon cards are so good. So that you can look at your opponent and just tell them to get good because they weren't able to outplay your really terrible tech choices that you built into your deck because you saw it on a YouTube video and you're like, this is amazing. You guys remember back in the day when we discarded Thunder Dragons or two Thunder Dragons, pendulum, some both make double Colossus? I remember. That was 2019 Yu-Gi-Oh! At its finest. It was a concept that never really took off on a high degree, but it was something that you needed to look at. If you weren't aware of that combo and your opponent said the pendulum scales, pendulum summon both, you're just like, oh shit, I got double Colossus I got to deal with. All right, this was also in an era where pendulum wasn't necessarily the craziest and most powerful that it was. But gosh darn it, it was good, creative Yu-Gi-Oh! And that feels like something that I think we've lost over the years. It's, building this into K9 now, sure, man. You do you, all right? Royal Decree has been gaining some traction in older formats right now. Now, this makes sense to me because Royal Decree is a very stupid card and has always been a stupid card throughout the years. The way that this card interacts in the game is hilarious. It's like Spell Canceller, but I can chain MST on the trap card to send it to the graveyard so it can actually resolve. In early Yu-Gi-Oh! Royal Decree was a bit of a blowout in certain situations, but the game was slower back in the day. You could actually manage and navigate underneath these certain problems, and they didn't feel absolutely horrible. And now to see that, players are looking at the higher rarity Royal Decree. To be fair, the highest Royal Decree was the old TP Ultra, and that card has always been, kind of hard to get your hands on. It's one of those cards you look at and you're like, yeah, this looks nice. It's not worth the $400 price tag to get mod plays, but at least it's not a $2,000 morphing jar that we've seen popping up and going around at that point. So, kind of take your coin flip where it is. But I just want to make you aware right now that we do have people looking at Royal Decree. It's like Mechanical Chaser, right? You have Edison making one card viable. You got other people looking at other things. I mean, Trap Stun went up too over the last couple of months where, it's another card that's able just to negate traps. But you take your coin flip. You're like, does this piece suit me? Or would I rather go down another line of trap negation? One turn versus multiple turns. There is an argument for Trap Stun over Royal Decree, but there's also an argument to decide which engine is just better for you in the long haul. And then there was an absolutely interesting Absolute Zero auction that sold. And I also want to mention Zero because the QCRs have been going up too. This isn't just like in a one-off, but there was a wholesale auction. It was for 100 Absolute Zeros from the manga. Yeah, right, 100 of them. Now, if you do your math, it ends up being 850 divided by yield 100. It ends up being 8.5 or $8.50 a copy. I think we looked on TCG Player after the completion of this auction, and I think lowest was like $20-some. So whoever ended up picking up the auction for the 100 zeros is going to make a decent amount of money. It's just going to be a very slow roll on that. But those are the kind of high-stakes action auctions that you look at that just turn into long-term, turnovers in general, especially with the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, enough Edison players are eventually going to want those Absolute Zeros from the manga because they're the cheaper alternative. Why would I want to go out and spend the crap ton of money to get the QCRs? Oh, wait, they're never getting reprinted again. That's why I want QCRs. I keep forgetting that was the selling point. It was a rarity that existed for 3 years that we're done with, and we're not printing any more of them. So I should go spend my money and pick up infinite copies of those. How could I forget? But yes, it's an interesting market out here for Absolute Zero. So we'll wait and see where this goes. But I just wanted to bring y'all into the what in the world is happening here, but not truly the what in the world's happening here video. Bye-bye! Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.